the Gita News Network.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Secrets of the Path on the Gita News Network. I'm Vishnu Das. Thank you for joining us for Part 3 of the Yogic Action series. On the previous 2 episodes, we looked at identification with doership, or I-ness, and identification with the result or the fruit of action. Today, we'll dive into the third type of identification. Swami Sri Atmananda has said that the process is more important than the product. That is, for yogis, the way we do something carries more significance than what we actually do or what gets done. The key is to not get identified with that process. For more on this concept, we go to Senior Correspondent Yogi. Yogi, how about an example of identification with the process? Here's a simple example. On the morning we began filming this episode, I was riding my bicycle to the market, and a woman and a man were coming out of their house with their dog. And the dog saw me on the bicycle and began barking. And immediately, the dogs in the next 2 houses also began barking. Now, they didn't even see what was happening, but immediately they're barking. And I was laughing. I thought, that's what humans are like sometimes. When we get identified with the process, it's like I was given the job to sweep the campus, to prepare for a visitor. And as I'm doing that, I hear 2 people talking, and I hear this one person tell the other, oh, Swamiji said the visitor's not coming. Now, if I get upset and say, oh, why am I doing this work? The person's not even coming. Why does Swamiji have me doing this work? And on. Swamiji didn't change my job. My job is to sweep the campus. And these people may be gossiping or rumoring, and I don't know if their information is accurate, and it wasn't said to me. Why am I starting to bark just because I heard the other dog barking? Yogi, in my experience, identification with the process feels like the most sticky type of identification. You seem to agree with that. It's like mud or quicksand, and like you drive your car into a puddle of mud and you get stuck, and the more you try to reverse or work your way out of the mud, you get more stuck. Identification with the process, that process is continuing, and when you're identified with it, it's like those gears are turning and the process is continuing. And for me, that's where the term churning, churning is identification with the process for me. It's just that on and on grinding of the gears. What does that feel like? It's horrible. It completely clouds my awareness when I get deeply identified with the process. It just throws me out of track. And maybe I only got identified with one incident, but if I sink into that and I let it pull me down, it just covers me and throws me off balance. And I don't want to go to a meal, or I don't want to see that person, or I don't want to do my work. It just is, it's a terrible feeling. It just really saturates me with dismay. Thank you for that candid sharing, Yogi. We'll come back to you shortly, but right now, our next guest is on a tight schedule, so we go live to Mr. Soul. Welcome back, sir.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Mr. Soul, will you share with us the signs and symptoms of identification with the process, and also any solutions to this challenge?
It's morning time. Maybe you need a spelling quiz. Are you ready for the pop quiz? Okay. Spell process.
Process.
Well done. Let's look at this. First is P. P is perfection. When one experiences identification with the process, there is this unrealistic, idealistic view or expectation that everything will happen perfectly. Now, perfection is a beneficial thing to strive for, but it's an obstacle in yoga when one becomes so fixated, so, let us say, obsessed with making sure that every detail is just so. The steps fall into place in perfect sequence. The details are all perfectly arranged. That is, as I said, unrealistic, and that becomes an obstacle.
How does a yogi handle that?
It takes discrimination to say, okay, it's not this perfect, orderly process that I imagined, but we're still moving down the path. We're still moving toward that goal or that objective, whatever it may be in the situation, and that's to be accepted. But the identification with the process does not allow that acceptance. The identification with the process causes one to become mired down in the details, stuck in those details of saying, no, it's more important to do it perfectly than to do it at all.
Anything else on navigating the trap of perfection?
We're human beings dealing with human beings. There are variables to human behavior. We need to roll with it and accept those.
Next.
R. Are we there yet? This is taking a long time. Are we done yet with this process? I've been in it so long, I've been working so hard, I've been dedicating so many resources, so much time, so much energy. It's still going on? How much longer? Are we there yet?
What's the message here?
Yoga takes time. Everything worthwhile takes time. Endure that process.
And next comes O.
Oh, okay. Just be okay with it. Be okay with the process. Hang in there.
Moving on to the next letter.
C. Can you see your idealistic focus on perfection? Can you see this identification with the process? Or have you fooled yourself into believing that an obsessive focus on the details and making the details perfect is actually the optimal way to proceed? If you've done that, it may take a long time to see the truth.
How about E?
E is for easy. When one is identified with the process, there is often this hope or expectation that it will be easy. And not that it won't take effort, but that it will be smooth. It will be easy without hiccups and challenges. Here's the news. It's not easy. It's difficult. Let go of that easiness. Feel ease inside. Don't be identified with this ideal that the process should be easy. Feel inner ease. Everything will then go smoothly. Finally, the double S. Process has a double S because it has a double impact. These two S's are should and supposed. If you're feeling something should be a certain way, it should go like that, that's a clear symptom of identification with the process. Supposed. What does supposed mean? Someone supposes it will be that way. They might be wrong. Don't be identified with that. Don't feel the process should be that way. It's supposed to happen like this. We're supposed to be like this. I'm not supposed to feel this. You should be doing that. Hey, the weather forecast said it's supposed to rain today. How about that? Here's the sadhana forecast. Strong chance of should and supposed. Bring your raincoat. Watch out for torrents of perfection.
That is quite a forecast, Mr. Soul.
Remember, the Bhagavad Gita was revealed on the battlefield because Arjuna did not want to fight. Krishna was counseling and guiding him. And while we're in chapter 3 with Yogic Action, let's just jump ahead. Look at what happens in chapter 11. Arjuna, still displaying reluctance to go into battle, Krishna tells him, Arjuna, I have killed all these enemies. They've been killed by me. All you have to do is stand up and hold your weapon. I'm doing everything. So this is like, you see these bumper stickers in America. On the back of the car, they say, relax, God is in charge. Relax, God is in charge. How can you be upset with how the process is proceeding? That means you think you're in charge.
Thank you so much for joining us again, Mr. Soul. Any parting words?
Relax. God is in charge. Let the process flow. Take it easy.
Back to you, Yogi. Tell us about that experience you described to me earlier. Getting identified with something, and then getting identified that I got identified. It's great that you can laugh about it. So that second part, getting identified, that I got identified, that is identification with the process. Classic example. I see. And the identification with the identification would throw me off balance way more than that original identification. It's like this compound identification. Identification squared. Naturally, the question is, how does one come out of this identification? Tell us how someone can break free from it. I think the most important thing is don't get into it in the first place. Don't drive into that mud puddle and then you don't have to worry about how to extract your car from the mud. Just avoid it in the first place. And the way to do that is to be linked with Gita. Maintain the awareness so that you're insulated from that trap. As it happens, we're filming this on August 1st, and today's entry in the Satyachetana diary is perfect, as usual. For more on this, we go to everyone's favorite bicycle mechanic, Winston Wheels. Winston, what's the key to maintaining awareness? In some ways, it's like physical health. In order to maintain a healthy body, you don't just eat one healthy meal or exercise once. You need to exercise regularly and make sure that your meals are nutritious and healthful all the time, if possible. Right, so constant contemplation, for example. Winston, on episode 2, you shared that helpful analogy about discrimination and a bicycle. You said you have another bicycle example for us today? Everyone knows when you go for a bike ride, you put your feet on the pedals and you push down to make the wheel move. Push down to make the wheel move. Now, if you're looking to ride the bike as fast as possible, or to be as efficient as possible, you can use a special type of shoe that locks into the pedal. So when your feet are linked with the pedals, not only when you're pushing down, but also when you pull up, you're making the wheel move. And so it makes the riding that much more efficient. Just as the rider's feet are linked with the pedals, when the yogi is able to be linked with Gita, it enables the yogi to maintain that yogic consciousness, carry that awareness into every situation. Maintaining the link with Gita helps the yogi stay free from attachment and move more smoothly and efficiently on the path. And just like the linked bicycle rider is able to apply pressure to the pedals 360 degrees around the circle, the yogi maintains her awareness 360 degrees around her circle of life. It almost echoes what Krishna told Arjuna in the 3rd chapter. Thank you, Winston. And thank you for joining us for part 3 of the Yogic Action series. Tune in next time as we continue onward and upward with Secrets of the Path here on the Gita News Network. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello, I'm Malcolm Teff. You may recognize me from my appearance on episode 3 of Secrets of the Path. I'm here today with a special offer for you from the Gita News Network. The Gita News Network is ready to send you some new clothes, specifically an item of your choice from the new line of Gita News Network t-shirts and tote bags. The only requirement is that you contemplate on a verse of Gita. Now, this is not a contest. There's no judging. There's no right answer, no wrong answer. This is episode 3 of the Yogic Action series, so take a verse from chapter 3 and deeply, deeply contemplate how does that verse apply to your life. Write out a summary or encapsulation of your contemplation and send it by email to the team here at the Gita News Network. The email address is team@gitanewsnetwork.com. Supplies are limited, so please include your t-shirt size and whether you'd like a ladies' or men's shirt or a tote bag. Again, team@gitanewsnetwork.com. Your invitation for contemplation.